To replace your cap top or your capping station, first thing you're going to want to do is shut off the printer. So we'll come over to the back, turn off the power. I always like to disconnect the cable from the machine as well. And after that's been done, we like to tap the sub power switch a few times just to make sure the power is off when we're getting all the surge out of it as well. And to do this too, we're going to make sure we need a Phillips screwdriver, set of pliers, a dish to hold some screws in, just paper towel, and also our new capping station. Start off, we're going to take off the maintenance cover. So we're going to take off the thumb screw at the bottom. It's going to remove our maintenance cover. Just place that down there. We'll then take our screwdriver. We're going to pull off the right side cover first. And there's 3 screws on the side to go ahead and pull this one off. Just going to take that cover. I should just point out right now, this is going to be the tubing that's over here, and which we'll be taking off in a second. But after this one's done as well, we want to take off this top cover. It's going to give us more access over to our capping station itself. Should point out the screws that are used on this top are a little bit of a smaller length. Just to remember that when we're putting it back together again. That. Last piece we need to remove is this front metal cover right here. Now that we have this off, we can get access to the 2 screws at the top. First one's going to be set over here, just behind the black bar. And this one also uses that smaller set of screw as well. Doing really close here to the printhead. Should point out too, I'm always magnetizing my screwdriver here. It helps a lot so you don't lose those little screws in this situation. And then after that too, there's 3 screws down here on the front of that panel as well. And you can see it's kind of starting to get loose. So as this goes on, try to keep a hand on it so it doesn't get out of position. And this front panel is going to slide right out. So once we have that panel slid out, we're going to have access to the tubing that's over here. Now you take a close look over at the tubing. There's these 2 spots right here that have like the little rivets into it. That's what we want to disconnect first. Before that though, let's take our print head, and all we're going to do is just push it on over to the left. This is going to expose everything we need. There's our cap top here, our old one that we're going to change. That spring we're going to have to change out too. It's going to come into play. And we're going to also be pressing down. That's the T side. That's going to be important to know later on. So first off, let's go ahead and disconnect. And when I'm about to disconnect it too, I like to take the paper towel and just kind of lay it down there just in case a little bit of ink comes out while we're doing this. It's very important. You don't want to get any of this ink on any wires. It's very corrosive solvent-based ink. I'll grab my set of pliers to help me with that, get that off. Get that piece out. So once those are released too, we want to get the spring off. And we got to be very careful when we get the spring off. So I like to grab on this bottom end here. Make sure you have a very good grip on this. Pull that right out of place. After that's complete, we're going to press down on the T spot. That's this little area right here. You can see how it pushes down and comes out into place. And out comes the tubing. So once you get the old capping station out, we want to make sure that we take that spring out with us. Now when installing the new one, We want to apply that spring back onto this. So we'll go ahead and feed the tubing on through. Then you can see that slot right there that'll slide on into. So once that's in, you'll see the hole that's down there. We'll feed both ends through. Let's take the pliers here to help pull them through. So once we got that off, we'll pull off the caps on these to extend our new tubes. You gotta work with them, they fit right into place there. That's it as well. I'm going to feed that tubing through. And notice with my cap top here, I'll get it into place. And remember I pointed out earlier that T side, that's going to be pointed over to the right here. Get some more tubing out here. So you push that down and it'll lock back in place. But we still got to put that spring back. So we'll take the top, we'll hook the spring back on, bring it over to this end, and let it apply. Always make sure you got a good grip on that. So now the capping station's back in. I'm going to feed some tubing through on this side. Let's bring that up. And then we'll go ahead and put the covers back on in the same order as before. So we'll bring the print head over first. First part we want to bring on is this, the front cover. So that's going to slide on, kind of just like we took out top. We want to make sure that's kind of hooking on that back end there. Now in putting this back on, we kind of want to make sure though that we keep these screws loose. Reason being is we might need a little bit more playroom to move it around before we tighten everything up. Then we can replace our top cover. Put on our right cover. And then the maintenance cover. After we button up our machine, last thing we want to do is turn on our BN-20 utility and run a power for cleaning. After that, run a test print, just make sure those nozzles are still firing. You'll be all set, back up and running. I'm Joe Burt with Stahls TV.